recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your testimony. And I had a question about Hezbollah's activities and Hezbollah's activities with the drug trade in particular. And so there's been a fair bit of their involvement, but so far that ties to Lebanon, but not directly to Iran. And of course, there's correlation. Has there been any successful effort to tie the cash flows from the drug trade, particularly with the U.S. drug trade, not just in Latin America more broadly, but U.S. border trade? Dr. Ottolenghi.
Yes, thank you. It's a very important question, and I'm very grateful you brought it up. The network that deals with drugs is truly global. The cocaine, of course, comes entirely from Latin America. It travels to its multiple destinations, Western markets mainly, but also increasingly to the Middle East. While I can't go into too much detail, there is plenty of open source evidence indicating multiple connections between the Hezbollah people in Latin America involved in the drug trade on the one hand, operatives and cartels trading and criminal organizations in Europe, in other places in Latin America, and potentially all the way to the United States moving the drugs. Connections with the Iranian network in Latin America, and most troubling, the financial links lead all the way to the United States. In other words, while the drugs may not be moved directly by Hezbollah into the United States, into the U.S. market, Hezbollah is using U.S. jurisdictions in order to launder the revenues from its illicit trade. So there is a threat to the financial integrity of the U.S. financial system from Hezbollah's illicit activities in Latin America that are linked to the drug trade.
Thank you. And briefly, could you mention any tools that would be helpful that aren't already in place?
Thank you. I think that one important tool is to empower the law enforcement agencies that are chasing these cases, especially down in Latin America, where the willingness by local government to cooperate is somewhat diminished by the level of collusion and complicity that some officials in these governments have with the illicit activities to which Hezbollah is accessory. Of course, once again, I bring to your attention the ongoing activities of Hezbollah in the tri-border area. In the tri-border area, there is an enormous degree of complicity, collusion, or just benign neglect from local officials, from law enforcement authorities that overlook these activities. Pressure from the United States on these governments would be extremely helpful.
Thank you. My time has expired.